Hello everyone and welcome to a video I never thought I would be making for three main reasons. One, like everybody else, I'd completely given up with the idea of a Harry Potter game. Two, if it did get announced, thought for sure there would be multiplayer. And three, this is actually the first video I've ever made, so let's just jump straight into the first one.
Oh wait, hold on, right, you need to put the horn in front of the camera lens, right?
Why?
And then when I say Lumos, take it off, right?
I'm not doing it.
I'm dead.
I'm literally not, I'm not gonna do it.
I need you to do it.
I'll watch you do it, but I won't do it.
But it's gonna look stupid if it's just me.
That'll make it stupid.
Honestly, how should we call it? Lumos.
Right, cool. The first point, I suppose. Dynamic weather settings, a day and night cycle, and a seasonal rotation system implemented into the game.
Yeah, so when people are talking about this game and how buzzing and excited they are for this game, one of the things that they're talking about is how immersed you're going to feel in the world. And I don't think, obviously there's different bits and pieces which can kind of add to full immersion, but just with day and night cycles and weather cycles and stuff, it makes every part of the game feel more like
real.
More real. That's exactly it. Yeah, more real, because there's no going to be an image that's going to be constantly the same. Like, you're not going to walk out the castle and it's going to be the exact same visuals every single time you come out, and that will definitely help the immersion.
I think it'll make the game feel lived in a way. Like, wherever you are in the game, whether you go in to the school, whether you go into the pub, whether you go anywhere, when you come out, the weather could have completely changed. The day and night cycle could actually be mid-rotation, so the world is constantly moving. Whether you're paying attention to it or no, it's still being lived in. Do you know what I mean? Yeah,
exactly. And the thing is as well, it can actually be used towards like skill building and stuff. Imagine, for example, you're brewing a potion and it says it takes 3 days. It says something crazy and it says it'll take 3 day night cycles, just 3 days to actually completely brew. So you have that going on in your cauldron, either in your dorm or in the potions class, and then you're away doing other things. While in the back of your mind you're going, yes, I've got that brewing and that's going to help me in an upcoming mission, or where I'm going to go and be able to use it, sort of thing. So there's just so many ways it can be used and bring so much more to the game, and I think that's got to be something that's like high up on the list. Okay, so point number 2, room/dorm customization. Again, this is just a point that's going to add to the idea of you actually living in the world, and what better way to do that than just to customize your own personal area, because everyone's castle is going to be relatively similar, but to have like your own room where you could customize it with, like, put your broom up on the wall, hang your Quidditch jersey up, put your Quidditch scarf up of your favourite team, just stuff like that.
Aye, I completely agree, because if the game is based around the fact that you're a student coming into the school late and you're obviously living on site, so you're living in the castle or you're living in a dorm room, it's just one of the things that goes the extra mile to make you feel as if you actually are a part of the game, as if you are living in it and you are really living out the experience that everybody spent so many years watching. You've thought how you would do it if you were there, I suppose, growing up watching all of these films. So to actually have the chance to customize or like hang trophies or the tiniest things, like if you make potions and it's like an inventory, like a backpack, and you want to just display everything or store them on a bookshelf in your dorm room, like that, the tiniest thing I think would make a massive difference.
Kind of similar to like Skyrim, for example. Whenever you bought your house, you could just put all your armor and hang your weapons up on the wall and stuff like that. I think that'd be really cool.
And you can steal stuff for other people's dorm, just like Skyrim.
Oh, pickpocket. We've not even talked about that. Pickpocket skill. That'd be interesting. But yeah, moving on to the next point.
Right, so point 3, I'll let you completely discuss this one because I don't want to take any credit for it, because It really is an idea that I would love. I think it would just take the game to a completely different level. So it's all yours.
Right, so this was an idea I had, again, previously mentioned. This is a game that me and Red have been talking about for years, an RPG Harry Potter game. This is how we've been talking about. And one of the ideas I came up with months ago, and I've seen a couple of people talk about it on Reddit now. And I mean, they've clearly stole my idea, even though the video's not been out yet. But the idea was for like a collector's edition of the game. And the idea would be that whatever site you order it from, I mean, maybe Amazon wouldn't do it, but maybe like Game, or maybe even from like the official website or something like that. The idea is you can get a collector's edition where you personalise the game case to be a Hogwarts acceptance letter. So instead of having the Hogwarts Legacy like imagery all over the box, it literally comes designed like an envelope, and on the back of it it'll have the Hogwarts seal, it'll have like, and then on the front it'll have like your own address. So on the website you can put in your address, Mr. blah blah blah, Mr. Rollo, Mr. Red, here's your address, and whenever you open it, that's your game inside. But I think that's something people dreamed of, getting that through the post, and to actually be able to have that. Obviously, people, you can order like things off Etsy where it's like Hogwarts acceptance letters, but for this game that's going to actually let people live in the Hogwarts universe, the Harry Potter world, whatever, to actually get that invitation, your game into the world with the customised, and I think that'd just be an absolute steal. I mean, I'd throw 100 quid, 200 quid at that. What do you even think about it?
That's insane. The idea of getting your game that you've been waiting like 10 years for anyway, but just having that one thing, just like the seal, and getting it to, or going to pick it up, or getting it through the door, whatever. But the fact that you open it and it's like, if it's a collector's box, you would obviously get stuff with it, as in like most collector's boxes have
figures or art book.
Wee figures and stuff. So to have any sort of thing like your acceptance letter obviously in it that you can open up and stuff, like any of the things and figures, wands, any of that stuff that goes with it would just be next level. Amazing.
I doubt they would do it, but a man can dream. Okay, so the next point, this is the biggie. This is the one where the entire fan base of Harry Potter that will be getting this game is completely divided on. And to be fair, I thought it was fairly one-sided, but after looking into some Reddit posts and Twitter and stuff, it seems to be a bit more divisive than I originally thought. And that is the idea of multiplayer. And for this one, I'm going to let Red go on this because on threat of not buying the game without it, he feels very passionately about it.
No, it's just... I really didn't think there would even be an argument for any sort of Harry Potter based RPG game that wasn't multiplayer or didn't have a multiplayer feature at least. And it's the idea of this game is like you watch the series growing up and it's based around like three main characters, three best pals that do all this stuff together, whether it's the quests, whether it's going to classes, anything. It is all done as like the focus is around the group. So to be able to go and, like me and you, to be able to jump into a party together, meet up and go level up because we know that we're going to go take on a quest, or we're going to go try and go to the Forbidden Forest for whatever reason to get resources or whatever it needs to make potions or whatever it is you need to do. The idea of having to do that with like an NPC or just like an empty world just doesn't make any sense to me. And the fact that it's so divided, that people are getting so angry at the fact that people want a multiplayer, it's just kind of like blowing me away. I can't believe it.
I know. It's the craziest thing is like I by no means want an Elder Scrolls Online. I don't want it to be an MMO. I literally do not want that at all. But what I'm looking for is something along the lines of Borderlands or Destiny, where I mean, Destiny obviously their social areas are kind of more MMO-ish now, but originally it was a case of you'd go in with your fire team and you could do the campaign missions together, you could freely explore the world together, you could take on like wee mini events that were going on in each part, like each planet sort of thing. That just seems too perfect for me. I don't understand how that system would be overlooked. At this point, the idea of it playing single player, like you said, people are talking about how the immersion is better if you're playing single player, and I completely disagree. I wouldn't be at a school, no talking to MD. I wouldn't be sitting in silence in my room playing this game. If I was at Hogwarts, I'd be sitting talking to my pal. Excuse me. I'd be talking to my pals. I'd be running about with my pals. I'd be going to classes with my pals. And then for them to finally bring out this game, and then the idea of me sitting in silence, sitting playing the game, it doesn't make any sense to me.
No, I feel as if the immersion and the whole reality of this game kind of relies pretty heavily on even just like a 4-player party. Like Borderlands is the perfect game to base this on, where you can play the single player by yourself
if you want.
But then I can join your game and we can do it together. Like we can go and do quests together, but it's still saving progress for both of us, but we're just choosing to run the game as a group.
Yeah.
I don't want like an Elder Scrolls, like you were saying. I don't want 1,000 people standing in front of a quest marker, because that's not what the Harry Potter series was either.
No.
It's based around a small group that done this stuff together. So the idea that is being so contested by a massive portion of the fan base is just so backwards.
Yeah. That's the thing. I just feel like it should be a choice. Like, if you want to play yourself, that's absolutely fine. I have no qualms with that. I mean, if you work a busy schedule, if you work Monday, Friday, 9 to 5, and maybe your pals, maybe they work opposite shifts, and if you need to play yourself, that's absolutely fine. You should have that choice to go and do that. I'm not saying there's quests where you need to have someone else on to hit a button so you can run through a door. That's not what I want at all, and I don't think that's what the game should be. But I feel like the choice to be able to play with people in your house, I mean, it just opens up so many more doors for exploration. Yeah, so take for example, if I get placed in Gryffindor and one of your mates gets placed in Ravenclaw, obviously I have access to the Gryffindor common room, and maybe there's some lore about some other places where only Gryffindors find out they can go to, and then I can invite my Ravenclaw friend to come and do these quests with me or explore these areas that they wouldn't have access to. There's just so many possibilities that would be enhanced.
Trading as well.
Trading, exactly.
Trading's like, it seems like such a massive thing that if you're working all day and I'm playing and I go and do quests, raids, whatever it's going to be, and get so many like rare items, you get a duplicate, you get whatever, you don't know if you can sell stuff yet, you don't know what the kind of ecosystem's going to be in the game, but the idea of being able to trade with your own party or with your own group just seems so obvious.
Yeah, instead of going to an NPC and dumping it all in for coins or whatever.
Because Skyrim's a perfect example. Like, once you've completed Skyrim, you were done, really.
Yeah.
Like, you could go back and play it in a different way, I suppose, but you can only talk to the same NPCs and, like, go gather up so much loot and then just walk in and press, like, sell all and give me some coins. Like, and there's only so many times you can do that.
Yeah.
And I don't want this game to go down that kind of, like, empty kind of route, because there's so much potential for it to be just massive.
Yeah.
Like, the idea, they can put so much in if they just incorporate even like a small 4-player party option.
Yeah.
Which won't ruin the game because it's not an MMO, but it won't absolutely demand that you play this entire game start to finish by yourself, and after the 40 odd or whatever it's going to be campaign, you're basically finished or forced to replay it as an evil guy. I
know, well, let's face it won't be that much different.
Nah, like they could make it different, but not to the point where it would be like, whoa, this is a brand new game, or there's no, I don't know. See,
that's the thing is as well, like, oh, hold on, I'll save this for the next point. Right, we done with multiplayer?
Aye.
Let's move on.
Right, okay, and the fifth final point is probably the most controversial one, but it's the idea of DLC, a season pass, and expansions in the game. And straight away, I don't mean battle pass, I don't mean
Loot boxes,
I don't mean any sort of pay to win or microtransactions or anything like that. I mean a DLC that opens new areas as the game kind of progresses. Because the idea of it being a one and done playthrough. But this sort of ties in with the multiplayer, because if you've got a multiplayer, you're going to be coming back anyway. But if you're playing as a group, just say multiplayer is in. If you're playing as a group and you're exploring the same area so many times, the idea of having expansions and like a season pass that unlocks new areas a couple of times a year, or however often it would be, to events, brand new areas, new sections of the map, it would just be brilliant, and it would keep the game alive for a longer period of time, rather than just being like, here's the open world game, go explore it, and you would rattle it in the first like month, and then that could be you completely finished. There's no
the game you've been dreaming of for 10 years done in a month.
Finished. So the idea, DLC being able to bring new areas in, unlocking new places over time rather than just bang on the one go, is perfect, I think.
Oh, 100%. Again, we're not looking for like a battle pass like Fortnite or Apex, and that's trash. But just the idea just to keep a game going. Like, again, we keep referring back to the way that Destiny and Borderlands have done their DLC, and by no means they'd never done it perfectly. They were really slow to push out content, and obviously making content is a very lengthy process. But even just the promise of more is coming, because this we get this whoever you create in the game, this is essentially you living through them in the world, and you don't want that to come to an end. Who would? You just want it to keep going.
The worst way for it to happen as well, because it wouldn't even be that you've completed the game and it's like, oh, that's it, finished. Because if the game does keep going or whatever, but they don't do expansions or new areas or seasonal events and stuff, if they don't do that, then the game would just like fizzle out.
Exactly.
It would just like gradually stop playing. It would just die off, and that's probably the worst way to do it. But the seasonal and timed events would be unbelievable, as in
just like a live team that just
was it Destiny that done it, where it was almost as if you had to take time out of your day or out of your week at specific points during the week or during the day, where something would happen, as in there was a sale in one of the shops, or an event was happening, a Quidditch game was going on, whatever it would be, but you would actually need to make an effort to
be on for that time,
jump into the game, to jump in. And I know I don't want to be anything like Fortnite, absolutely nothing like Fortnite, but the idea of like a live event where everybody in their own servers playing with their own groups, just say 6 o'clock, the event goes live. And if you're in, you can watch it happen live, and then it's up for however long, a couple of days, a week, and then it's gone again. But you need to actually make the effort to jump in and play that, because again, it makes it feel real. It makes it feel as if you actually need to make the effort to go on and play.
Yeah, exactly. No, the whole idea behind that is great, and it's like with Destiny, like quests that were only available like one day sort of thing, and it would just make so much sense. Like a port key appears somewhere in the castle on a specific time and a specific day, and you need to be there within that window to activate this quest, to get rare loot, to get exclusive. When I say exclusive, I don't mean you need to like pay for it or anything like that. Literally, just something that appears in game. Maybe it's like a puzzle or something, kind of cryptic message that lets you know that something's going to be happening in this part of the castle, and then you need to go find it. And then obviously the Reddit forums will explode, Twitter will explode with people who have found it, sharing it, and you've got like that time window to go and activate it and play through it. It's such a simple way just to add more feeling to the game.
It's a bit of like motivation as well, like any sort of, to, like you were saying, it's no rare loot or limited loot or whatever, in the sense that you need to pay for it. But it's if you could get a robe or a cloak or a cosmetic item, something that shows that you were on at that time and you done that quest and reaped the rewards for it.
Yeah.
It's kind of more of a reason to go and try and do it, rather than just. It just makes so much sense.
Yeah. Because the idea as well, I mean, obviously in this channel we play a lot of competitive online gaming. We play a lot of Valorant and Overwatch. I mean, if this was just a 40-hour game, once it's done, you've not really any intention of going back. If you can't play with your pals and there's no DLC, there's no reason to go back to it. So once it's done, you'll platinum it, whatever. Once you're done, eject the disc, delete it after hard drive and forget about it. Whereas if there's stuff that you need to keep coming back for, that keeps you engaged. So instead of me and you jumped on and playing Valorant all night, we'll be like, oh shit, there's something, remember that thing's happening in Hogwarts Legacy, and we need to jump on, and we'll come off whatever we're playing, and we'll go on, and we'll log in, and make sure we're available for this thing to happen.
Alright, well that's the thing, like, people can let us know if this is just like a complete biased opinion, because we exclusively play competitive games, and maybe the whole, especially with me, like the idea of getting a cosmetic item or some sort of loot that I didn't have to grind for, but like I had to take time out of my day, came on and got it, and I know that people who won't do that. So I've got something that they've know in a sense. Maybe that's just because we play.
Yeah, we might be battling everybody.
Like it's just like a, oh, I've got it and you've no sort of thing, because we only play competitive games. But it kind of gives the game a point, because I was really trying to see it for like everybody's point of view, but I just cannot see. And people can explain it to me and try and help me figure it out, but I don't see the appeal of just playing this game by yourself.
One and done.
No, like competitive value to it, no exploration as a group, no actual like student school feel.
Yeah.
Like it just doesn't feel like that's would be anything to do with the game.
I just don't feel like it justifies the wait that people have been waiting for.
It feels like a different game. Like it would be a Wizards RPG rather than a Harry Potter RPG. Like it could just be a generic
reskin of Skyrim.
You have a wand and we're putting you in a castle. Like Harry Potter's got such a big fan base and such like a backstory for the people that have watched it for years, that I think you need to stick to these points.
Yeah.
Exclusively our 5 points, nobody else is just
high risk port key games. We'll make sure this does a whiff. But yeah, so that's been our 5 points. Top 5 things we believe that Hogwarts Legacy is in not dire need of. Some of them more so than others. I mean, if they don't let me customize my dom, I'll be a bit disappointed. But
if there's multiplayer, I'll actually cry.
I know.
I can't play it.
But yeah, if you agree with any of these points, if you disagree, let us know in the comments down below what you think. Again, we're desperate to play this game, so there will be a lot more content coming out about this whenever more stuff gets released and more details come out. But yeah, so far the basic confirmation that there's no multiplayer is a bit scary to us.
The fact that it has been public knowledge now that it is single player RPG, and that's it, is pretty wild.
And obviously I hate comparing to other games, and we've done a lot in this video. I mean, but we've played a lot of games over the years. But the idea, I mean, look at all the big recent titles that have come out and they've been single players, and I mean, how much have they talked about? I mean, look at Ghost of Tsushima. That was fun for a week. 2. It's not talked about.
Well, that's the thing I was saying, like, the fact that we only play competitive games pulls us away from investing time into single player games like that. Like, once you play it, you think, right, my time can be better spent grinding a competitive game. So if Hogwarts Legacy is just a Ghost of Tsushima situation, it's like the game's done and then I'm not investing any more time because I need to put it into Valorant or something else. So if the game's online, constantly expanding, and has some sort of like competitive edge to it, so slight competitive, it doesn't need to be massive, but It's a pool to get us away for Overwatch,
Yeah.
Valorant, Apex, and stuff like that.
Exactly. Yeah, so hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please hit that like and subscribe, and we'll catch you in the next one. Bye bye.
Cheers.